Day Memorial March, and I'm still working with the city to try and secure a location, but even though it's slightly premature because we haven't confirmed, it's most likely going to be at the Municipal Plaza in Calgary, the Calgary City Hall. That's that big open area in front of City Hall. It will be cold, so please do bundle up because we have this lovely polar vortex just hanging out in Mulkinstis, which has made for some really beautiful sunrises and sunsets, but not so great for sitting outside. So I'm going to try and make it as kind on everyone as possible. We're going to actually do it during the day because it's Sunday. So, and then that way we don't have to, be in the cold at night, because as soon as that sun goes down, the degrees drop like 10, by 10. So, yeah, I want to stay cozy. But I just wanted to start, of course, by welcoming everybody today to Mulkinstis. This is where I am in Calgary, which is in Treaty 7 territory. It's always really, really important in any situation where you're, going to talk, just acknowledging the land that you stand upon, because if you don't know where you are, you don't know where you're going. But also I think it's really important to establish a sense of place, to keep your feet grounded, to remember the ancestors that have been here for thousands upon thousands of generations. So I honor the Blackfoot of Siksika, Kainai, and Pagani. I honor all of those elders, all of those teachings, all of the stories that are steeped into this land, all of the ceremonies that have been happening here for thousands upon thousands of generations. And just to put that into perspective, I'm always floored when we find more and more scientific proof just to prove that we've done for thousands of years, because it makes me look brilliant. But they actually found a few archaeological sites here throughout the Mulkinstis area, throughout the southern Alberta area, that have been predated over 15,000 years old. And so that just goes to show exactly how far back that history goes, and how important it is to learn it and to know it and to really feel deeply connected to it. And the Blackfoot have been here for time immemorial. And so they have those teachings, they have that knowledge, and it's important to respect that. I also honor the people of Tsutsuna, because they have been here as well. They're the beaver people. They have been watching the rivers, and they are so deeply connected and entrenched in those rivers. This is why they're known as the beaver people. And I'm so thankful and humbled for the learnings that I get from that nation. I honor the Stoney Nakoda from Morley, which includes Chiniki, Bears Paw, and Wesley First Nations. I drove out there a couple weeks ago, and it was just stunning. As soon as you start driving through there, the mountains open up in front of you, and it's so humbling and so grounding, and you just really feel this spiritual significance of that deep connection that we have to the land and to the earth, and how all of the earth can teach us so many things. All of the people connect us and teach us so many things as well. So it's really about acknowledging that sense of community, that sense of relationship that we have to each other, that sense of relationship that we have to the earth. And also, I acknowledge Métis Region 3. This is why I proudly wear my Métis sash, to act as that bridge between Indigenous and non-Indigenous culture. And so, just to welcome everyone into the circle, the same way that I welcome everyone all the time, I wanted to share with you the Cree welcome song. Traditionally, when we sing songs, we sing in rounds of 4 to honor the 4 directions of the medicine wheel. But this song is a little bit different. We actually sing it in rounds of 3, and that's to keep the circle open and welcoming, so everyone completes the circle today. Because in a circle, we're all connected. There's no beginning, there's no end. No one is greater or less than anyone else in the circle, just like in the hoop of life. So it teaches us to really honor each other for those differences, honor each other for the knowledge that we all bring together. It's important to learn from each other. Even if we don't agree necessarily, it's once we learn each other's perspectives, we can actually come to a compromise. We can come to a place where we can connect and make our world better for our future generations. And it's really important that we do that within the circle, that we acknowledge that everyone brings something different to the table, that we're all equal, that there's no judgment, but just a learning that we need to continue. And so Mia Sin, which is the Cree welcome song, It's from the Nakahau family from Sturgeon Lake Cree Nation, and I thank this family for keeping this song and keeping this story alive. And it's really been instrumental on my journey of welcoming everybody in, welcoming everybody into the teachings, welcoming everybody into community, because I think that's really, truly what we need to do. We need to welcome people in, learn from each other, grow together, and support each other, especially now. Even if it's at a distance, we still need and crave that connection. And once we kind of boil it down and we get rid of all the politics, everybody wants the same things. Everybody wants a good world. Everybody wants to survive. Everybody wants to be taken care of and to feel loved and appreciated. And if we put all of those other differences aside, we know at our core we're human and all we long for is connection. And Mia Sin really embodies that. And I'm so thankful for this song coming into my life. I'm thankful for the Nataha family allowing this song to be shared and spread. And so Mia Sin doesn't just mean welcome, it also means beautiful. Ooh, I'm gonna push my chair out of the way. Mia Sin, Mia Sin, ha semina, ha semina, e peita kote, iwa gomagan, hota, homa, kita skino, Mia Sin, Mia Sin, ha semina, ha semina, e peita kote, iwa gomagan, hota, homa, kita skino, Mia Sin, Mia Sin, ha semina, ha semina, e peita kote, iwa gomagan, hota, homa, kita skino. Hi, and welcome to the circle today. Hello, everybody. So I just wanted to actually, a friend of mine had texted me, but this is a common question because I talk a lot about smudging when I do my live streams and I smudge with everyone. But there has been so many issues swirling around regarding cultural appropriation versus appreciation. And I think it's really important to understand that the practice of smudging, specifically called smudging, is very much a North American thing. Specifically, Cree, Blackfoot, Anishinaabe. There's so many of us that use smudging as that regular practice. I use it as a daily practice for mindfulness, for relaxation. If I'm stressed, I do a little extra smudging on that day. For cleansing the air, they actually did a study, I believe it was out of the University of Maryland, where they actually tested the air quality before and after smudging. And they found that smudging, burning sage specifically, but burning any other herb can do the same thing. It actually kills airborne toxins and viruses and bacteria. So they tested the air quality before and after, and they found that the viruses, bacteria, fungus, any radicals that were in the air, about 98% of those were eliminated completely. Not only that, it pH balanced the air and it ionized the air. So it made the air better to breathe. And so my house is really good to breathe in, apparently. But it's not just a North American Indigenous practice. It's not just First Nations, it's not just Métis, but it's across the world. Not specifically with sage, there's other herbs that are used across the world. And I think this is really important to understand that. So we see a lot of companies that are selling like smudge kits and sage, and that's not okay. So the difference between appropriation and appreciation is understanding where it's come from. And when it comes to our traditional medicines, you can't buy them from American Eagle, or you have to be able to know exactly where they're going, where they're coming from, make sure it's done in a sustainable way, make sure that it's supporting those Indigenous communities that those herbs and that knowledge has come from. And so if you're making sure that those things are being harvested in a good way, so in my traditional teachings, we always leave the roots of the medicine on the ground so it has a chance to grow back. We're always laying tobacco down, so we're always giving something back before we take anything from the earth. But also we're acknowledging the relationship that we have with that plant. And so even if I'm picking extra sage for other people, whenever I go sage picking, for example, I'll pick 2 bundles. I'll pick a community bundle and then a bundle for myself. And honestly, a lot of the stuff that I pick for myself ends up going to the community bundle just because of the amount of events that I do, whether it be the marches for murdered and missing Indigenous women, or book aches for the children for residential school survivors and the ones that we have lost. So we often will bring smudge buckets with us, and we invite everybody to smudge because it's our way of cleansing, it's our way of grounding, it's our way to call in our ancestors. And of course I use a lot of sage when I do that. So even though I picked, I think I went out 5 times technically, probably more like 8 or 9 times to pick sage this summer, and part of the spring and part of the fall, I still ended up running out. So I still have had to have it gifted to me, which I'm really thankful for. But we're not the only ones so that use, whether it be sage or other elements. So there's a big practice within Celtic communities, within the Scottish community and Irish communities, that would use the burning of sage, the burning of lavender, mugwort, things like that, to cleanse, to purify, to get ready for ceremony, or to have your own personal ceremony, because it cleans the air, it cleans yourself, and it is so grounding. But they would actually burn other herbs, much like we do in traditional, like in Cree culture and Anishinaabe, much like we do. There's different herbs that you can burn for different things, and the Scots knew that. The Irish knew that. This is probably why there's a lot of Scottish and Irish, as well as First Nations practices within the Métis culture. So it just makes sense. Then if we want to travel a little bit further east, when we go to Asia, there are many different cultural practices. Now, instead of just having those raw herbs, what we're finding is a lot more incense. So the incense, it's still their way to call in their ancestors. That incense is that smoke, that's that cleansing, that's that purification, that's your way of grounding. You'll burn different kinds of incense depending on what kind of a ceremony you're doing, what kind of a celebration you're doing. And so that is a traditional practice within those Asian communities. You'll see it throughout. China, of course, has lots of practices around burning incense. Japan has practices around burning incense. Tibet is probably one of the most famous, because of the ceremonies that they do with the smoke, with the incense. And so, yes, of course, it's a global practice. When we go even into India, same thing, lots of smudging practices, but they don't call it smudging. They sometimes will do it with water, which they will call, I can't even remember. But yes, there is a word for it. But it's their way of cleansing completely with water. But then they also have different herbs that they will burn, whether it be in synagogues, in mosques, in different places, to purify that space, to get everybody prepared as they come into that space. And also, even the Catholic Church does it. The Catholic Church would use frankincense, myrrh, different types of resin, which is the same practice of burning things to cleanse a space, to prepare a space. So, makes sense. When we go into Africa, in Africa, they don't call the burning of herbs. So any herb that they decide to roll together and burn, it's to invite in the ancestors. It's to purify space as well. It's for healing. They'll burn different kinds of herbs. They'll call it mfefo, and that's their way of just cleansing things. And so it's popular among Zulu. It's the Khoisan, I think it is. I don't know, don't quote me on that. But there are many different practices. And one of the most popular herbs, other than sage to burn, is mugwort. And mugwort does the same thing as sage, where it does purify that space. And it is a high, like, it's super antibacterial, actually, when you burn it. You can use things like pine, cedar, lavender, cloves, allspice. There are so many. In Jamaica, it's the same thing. There's tons of these really fragrant herbs that they will burn in their homes. So potpourri, that, you know, lovely stuff that sometimes you would put on your stove, that stems from a lot of those traditional practices. But a lot of those traditional practices went underground when, of course, all that colonization came in. Thanks, Europe. But even the European cultures were colonized in their own way, because a lot of those traditional practices had to go underground. And so now we're seeing this resurfacing and this resurgence of that connection to it. And those traditional cultures and those traditional ways and practices, they have a basis in science. There is a reason we burn things in all of these different cultures. Down in South America, we have things like Capal, we have things like, what is it called? Palo Santo, I think. And that's, again, purification. It's getting yourself ready for ceremony. It's calling in your ancestors. It's healing. It's using those different medicines the way that they're meant to be used. You don't necessarily need to only take a medicine into your body for it to actually be useful. You can actually burn it, and it brings in a lot of health benefits. It cleans your air. So it's amazing how all of these cultures all over the world, even in Polynesian cultures, have burning. And so sometimes even when they were preparing their food, if it was a ceremonial meal, they were putting specific types of wood chips under that meal that they were preparing, and they were inhaling that smoke. In New Zealand, there's still that practice of smudging. Of course, they don't call it smudging. I don't know what they call it. I can't remember. I'll think of it and then I'll blurt it out later, because that's what I do. Same with Australia. Everywhere has a culture, or an aspect, a cultural aspect of burning different herbs. But again, it's how are you getting those things? Are you getting them through the proper channels? Are you appropriating somebody else's culture? Or are you actually digging around and trying to research and find your own way of using something that resonates within your background, within your history? Because once we do that, we find this really incredible and deep connection to who we are, and also to each other. It gives us a point of relation. This is why we always say all my relations. I think it's really important to understand that, but also know that if you're buying it from a big company, probably not sourced ethically, probably not doing the best practice when it comes to actually honoring those medicines. So definitely go and find people in the community that have those local medicines that you can use, or even start to grow. If you have a window, start growing it in your window. If you have, a garden, definitely grow it in the garden and harvest it and dry it in a good way. If you're not sure, ask people, ask knowledge keepers, ask elders, ask medicine people, ask herbologists. There's so many people who do amazing things in your community. You just have to reach out and figure out who those people are. And so I know it kind of went on a tangent, but I think it's really important to know that. Also to understand that when you buy medicine, it's not the same. So because it doesn't usually burn. When my mom started on this red road, she ended up buying this beautiful, beautiful braid of sweetgrass, and she was trying to light it, and it wouldn't burn. And so she brought it to her elder, and she's like, I don't know what's wrong with this sweetgrass. It's not working. It's not burning. And her elder said, you bought it, didn't you? I was like, well, yeah. And her elder said, well, give it to me. And so my mom handed it over, and right away it lit. I was like, I don't understand. What happened? What did you do to it? And the elder explained that when you buy medicine, it doesn't have the same energy, but when you gift it away, there's a special connection that you have to that person and that person has to that medicine. It's so far better to gift something and then it'll work. And so sure enough, it happened a few years later. We were doing a little bit of a prayer vigil outside of Trans-Canada. Not that I'm a shit disturber or anything, but I am. Pardon my French. And my friend had brought this beautiful sage stick, and she was trying to light it. It would not light. And she's like, I don't know what's wrong with this. And my mom looked at her and said, you bought it, didn't you? And Kim's like, yeah, I did. My mom's like, give it to Chantel. So Kim gave it to me, and we lit it. And it lit right away, and it just continued to burn these huge billowing clouds of smoke, and it just refused to go out. The whole time we were there, it just burned and burned for like a solid hour and a half. These huge billowing clouds of smoke. It was amazing, and it smelled fantastic, and we felt so embraced with love and protection, and it was wonderful. And so it's amazing when you learn those things, how they just make so much sense. And so this is why whenever me and my mom go, if we're run out of sweetgrass or sage and we really need to buy something or purchase something, we'll go out to just outside of Wetaskiwin in Musqueam. There is a place called Bear's Paw. It used to be called Bear's Paw Pond. I think it's called Bear's Paw Trading Post now. But sometimes they have medicines that they actually pick in a good way. And so me and my mom will go. I'll buy 10 braids of sweetgrass. She'll buy 10 braids of sweetgrass. And then we'll do an exchange ceremony in the parking lot where we actually gift each other what we've bought. And then that way, you know, it changes the energy of it. I think it's really, really important to do that. So that being said, I'm not going to spend the time to talk about my medicines tonight, just because, you know, I think I've talked a lot about different medicines from all over, whether it be, you know, mugwort or different kinds of things. Oh, one thing as well, in China, it's part of a feng shui practice. So you have to smudge, well, not really smudge, but you have to bring incense and bring smoke around a room to purify it after you've set it up for feng shui to allow the ancestors and that energy to be in there and to flow properly. So yeah, amazing things. We are all deeply connected. These are all practices that connect us to the earth, and find the medicines or find those traditional plants and herbs that are meant for you to carry, that are meant for you to burn, that will actually work. And some of those are really reliant on where you live, and some of them are reliant on where you're from. And so just to keep that in mind. And so that being said, I'm going to share, oh, that's not my drum. I'm going to pick up this drum. I'm going to share the Four Directions song, just because I've talked a lot. So this is Wendeaho. It's a Four Directions song. It's also known as the Cherokee Morning Song. It can be found on YouTube by Ulali and Robbie Robertson did it as well. When I learned it as the Four Directions song, or the Four Winds song, because in it you can hear the wind swirling from each direction. Right now, the wind in Calgary is pushing from the north, and so it's really cold, and I don't like it. But yeah, so this is the Four Directions song, Wendeaho. I'm singing it, and I'm really thinking about uniting everywhere on the planet, everywhere in the world. We share in a lot of these practices, we share in a lot of these traditions, and it really makes us who we are, and it reminds us that we are far closer than we are apart. regarding the draffle. So I'm still taking donations for the draffle. Sorry, I'm like not reflected properly. So of course, tickets are $15 each, 25 for 2 or 50 for 5. Please, we need to sell more so that we have enough to cover the drum, and then we can put more into the fund for whatever we don't use for the Valentine's Day Memorial March. We'll be going for any of the upcoming marches for murdered and missing Indigenous women and girls, to spirit people, men, any causes having to do with Indigenous issues that we need to support. Ways to bring the community together is so, so important. And so this is why I do what I do. So, but also it's really important to be able to have that funding there so that you can offer it to the elders, that you can offer it to drummers and singers and speakers and knowledge keepers at the event, but also the families who share their stories. It's really important to be able to honor them as well, with a physical gift. Tobacco, I can't grow it yet, so once I do, then it's probably going to be a lot cheaper. But yes, buying traditional tobacco, that costs money too. So there's a lot of costs associated with putting on these events, and so it's really important that we raise money in a good way. So yeah, send me a message, chantal@create.ca, or shoot me a text, 403-404-7664 here in Mugwort in Calgary. If you win the drum, you can pick a number 1 to 100. I posted a bunch of them on the Facebook. I will post them also in the comments of the YouTube stream, and people can pick their numbers. And we will do the draw at 6:30 on Friday. So Friday, oh my gosh, it's the 12th, I think. Oh my gosh, less than a week away from the Valentine's Day Memorial March. But yeah, please do send me a message on Facebook if you have any questions, or feel free to text me, or I'm really slow on emails, so I apologize ahead of time, but I'm going to try and maintain that over the next little bit, and I'm excited to see who wins this beautiful drum. So, not this beautiful drum, this is mine, but this drum was painted by the talented Sam Baghetti, and it's stunning, because I don't know if you guys can see that in the background, but that looks like there's an eagle behind it as well. So it's almost like he captured the spirit of this drum. And this drum itself is a Salish drum. You can see it goes from point to point to point. It is made of buffalo. It's really, really thick because it comes from a buffalo that was hunted in the winter, but also the hump of the buffalo. So it's very, very thick. I brought it into many, many a sweat, so it's got really good energy, and it still smells a little bit like smoke, which is a good thing, I suppose. And like traditional medicines too. It smells good. Sorry, I'm sniffing my drum here. And of course, it will include a drumstick. If you're not a fan of navy, I can always make you another drumstick, so that's not a difficult thing. Because I had brought it into the sweat so much, it's got a very high-pitched sound, but in the sweat lodge it was really, really deep. So on days where it's rainy, it's going to sound phenomenal. Or if you decide to bring it in the sweat, it should be okay. Just make sure that you're treating that front part with love and respect. It is such a gorgeous drum. So I really thank Sam for partnering with me on this, and I thank everyone for purchasing tickets to try and win it, and congratulations to whoever ends up winning it on Friday. Last opportunity to get in your bids will be 5 o'clock. I'm going to say 5:30, so it's an hour beforehand, and then I will do the draw live at 6:30 on my Facebook as well as on YouTube. And if you guys are within an hour of Calgary, I'll come and drop it off to you personally. If you're not, then I will just mail it out to you. So thanks so much, guys. On that note, because we have the Valentine's Day Memorial March coming up quite quickly, I have shared the link to it on a few different places, but I think mainly Facebook. It'll be at the Calgary Municipal Plaza, so that's City Hall, and probably in the afternoon. I'm going to post all the details. Actually, I'm going to post the details now. If we get shut down, it's not going to happen. I'm coordinating with the police, so we're not going to get shut down. But please be safe, wear a mask. I have hand sanitizer on hand, but if you wanted to bring your own, probably awesome. We will have we're hoping to have bagged lunches. So normally we would have this beautiful spread with like cheeses and meats and crackers and cookies and, you know, the whole deal. But of course, buffets aren't happening anymore. So we're gonna brown bag it. So yeah, there'll be lunches available, lunches served. I'll post more of the details throughout the week. And if you wanted to volunteer, shoot me a message and we'll go from there. But I wanted to share the Strong Woman song. And of course this song became the Strong Woman song. Originally it was the turtle song. And the turtle represents Turtle Island, of course, our beautiful Mother Earth, but it also represents the moon, our connection that we have to the moon, because there's 13 bumps on a turtle's back to represent the 13 moons in a year, but there's also the 28 ridges along the edge to represent the 28 days in a moon cycle. The reason it connects to women is because we have 28 days in our moon cycle, and we have 13 moons in a year. And it reminds us of that renewal process that we go through every 28 days. It reminds us that it's okay to give and give, but we have to remember to refill, you know, our cup. And that's what Grandmother Moon teaches us, because she whacks and wanes, so she teaches us it's okay to give away your light, but remember to fill yourself back up. And so this is the Strong Woman song. Love that song. So another song that we will be singing definitely in the March. It's the Women's Warrior Song and also the Women's Honor Song. The Women's Honor Song is Anagea, and we like to sing it. It's actually from Joan Henry, who's a Arapaho Cherokee, and it really honors that pulse that Mother Earth has. It honors that pulse that we have within each and every one of us, and that's that connection that we have to each other. we have that natural ability to just pulse with music. We have that natural ability to pulse when we're trying to comfort a baby. And so it's that nurturing ability that we have to take care of each other, but also to take care of ourselves. It reminds us that we have a pulse too, so we need to take care of ourselves sometimes. And you'll feel that need to bounce. And that's beautiful. It just teaches us that we're so in sync with ourselves and we're so in sync with Mother Earth that we need to honor that. We need to honor those connections of our ancestors. Our lines are passed down through our mothers, our grandmothers, our great-grandmothers, and even from a medical perspective or a scientific perspective, genes are actually passed down through the mother's line more predominantly than the male line, which is pretty interesting. Well, yeah, are brewing in our bellies for like how long? So, and it really just teaches us about honoring, that journey that we nurture each other, that we care for each other, and it's important to honor the ancestors that have brought us here. And so this is Anageya, the Women's Honor Song. And I do repeat these songs, so if you want to go back to them, please do. Everything is always saved, whether it be on YouTube or whether it be on Facebook, so that you have an opportunity to learn these songs, so that when we do March, you can sing along with us. Anageya, weha, So the next song I want to share, actually wanted to share the bear song. And so, So the bear song is an Anishinaabe song. And I do the community version, so it's a little shorter, but it's also easier to teach. Sometimes I'll do it as a call and response, especially if we're marching, because it just makes it a little bit easier to sing together. And so I'm going to break it down a little bit. It's, I'm sorry, I'm like blanking on this song. Way-ya. So I'll do that. So way-ya. Way-ya. Yahweh, away, oh. Where away, yeah. Where away, yeah. Yahweh, away, oh. Mani tu makwa. Caminana se. Mani tu makwa. Hey Anishinaabe. So that's how I'll sing it, and there's gonna be, it's weird. It's really weird not singing with people. I can't wait to sing with people. It's gonna be amazing. I mean, I wish it was under better circumstances, but it's still important to get together and support community in a good way. And when we drum together and our voices are raised together, it really does make a huge difference. So this is the bear song. I'm going to sing it all the way through, as opposed to as a call and response right now. But at the march, we'll be singing it as a call and response. This is the song. So, next song I wanted to share, because we were in a Mohkinstsis, we were in Blackfoot territory, so oftentimes we'll sing this for the people that we've lost. This is the only Blackfoot song I know. I would love to learn more. But this song is from Olivia Tailfeathers actually shared it, but I've learned it from several different people, several different wonderful people that I've supported them in their journeys by helping to facilitate marches, sharing songs, sharing stories, but also doing the media releases, because it's important that everyone hears this story, not just a small group where you're kind of preaching to the choir, but it's really important to share with many community members and invite people in to remember that we're a greater community, and the only way that change is going to happen is if we do it together. And so this song is the I Love You song. And it's I Love You Na'a. I sing it for everyone. I sing it for Na'a. I sing it for Mohkinstsis, which is where we live. Na'a is Mother Earth. And then, of course, for everyone that we are together with, all of our ancestors, those who have passed on, and those who are yet to be born. But this is Gitzigakumen. And please, if you know it, sing along. This as well, when I teach it, do it as a call and response. It's a little bit easier because it's a very simple song, and it's really lovely to be able to sing together. So this is Gitzigakumen. makes me think of my wonderful sisters from another mother. And so I send that love and appreciation to them. So I just inhaled water. That wasn't fun. The next song I'm going to share is sometimes we sing it on the marches as well. I'm going to have another sip of water to wash down the stuff that I was breathing in. Awesome. So this is the Thunderbird Song, also on Anishinaabe, and it's really about honoring the path that we're on, realizing that everything happens for a reason, even though sometimes we don't know what those reasons are because they seem so senseless. It's when we can really come together and recognize that the journey that we're on teaches us different things. It gives us strength. So sometimes those worst experiences happen for the best reasons, to bring us on the path that we need to be on. It also teaches us that sometimes those bad things will happen because we're ignoring all of the signs that Thunderbird is telling us, like, don't do this, and we keep, making the same mistakes over and over and over again until finally the Thunderbird's like, nope, and then kicks us in the butt and puts us on the right path. But it's really about being aware and knowing that the Thunderbird is our intuition. It's that what pushes us forward. It's fate or destiny. It's our ancestors trying to lead us in the right direction. And so it's really about acknowledging that and knowing that everything happens to teach us about ourselves, to teach us about the journey ahead, to prepare us. And really it makes us stronger. So never wish something didn't happen. Only recognize that it happened and find that reason, find that purpose, and it helps you heal and move forward. I know it's really helped me in my life, this song. And so this is the Thunderbird Song. Also, this one I would do as a call and response when we're marching, because it's just easier to say, Kichima peso, Kichima peso, money to Kichiwino. But I'm going to just sing it all the way through. Sorry, I did do it as a call and response. Habit, force of habit. So I did want to share the Women's Warrior song, and then I wanted to close with a traveling song, just so that everybody has a great week ahead, and so that we all stay safe, especially in the weather that we're having now. So first, the Women's Warrior song, which is from Coast Salish, so it's out from the west. It's really become a theme for murdered and missing Indigenous women and girls out in like East Hastings, along the Highway of Tears. But it's such a powerful song. It reminds us of that warrior spirit that's within each and every one of us. It's being a gentle warrior, standing up for what's right. It's being able to raise those voices that are marginalized. It's being able to step into the light, even though you might be shrouded in darkness. It's also being able to step into those roles. When we lose somebody in our community, there's a huge hole, there's a huge void left behind. And the warriors are the ones that step into those shoes, step into those roles, you know, whether it be raising other people's children or raising their nieces, nephews, grandkids, when they lose their mom. And it's a gift to have those warriors within our community. We have so many brilliant and beautiful warriors that have taken tragedy and shown how much strength it takes to get through that and to maintain that humility and that kindness and that compassion, but also that drive to strive for justice the way that they do. And so this song goes out to all of the warriors, all of the people who stand up for what's right in their community, all of the people who have never given up striving for justice and for keeping those stories and those songs and those memories alive. This is the Women's Warrior Song. To stop drumming on that last one. Awesome. So I wanted to leave you with the traveling song, which again is Anishinaabe. I learned it from my elder, Sharon Prue Turner, and then it came back through my friend Yolanda and Ashley, and I'm very, very thankful that it did come back around. But I think songs do that, you know, just like people do that. When you're on the right path, the people that are meant to come back into your life, they will. And when you keep seeing the same people over and over and over again, you know that you're both on the right path. So it's a good space to be. And this is why I'm so thankful and humbled for the path that I'm on now, that I can share in a good way, that I can help in any way that I can help, that I can offer and serve community in a meaningful way. And everybody has their own gifts. Everybody has their own talents. It's really finding how you serve community in the best way. For some people, that's writing. For some people, that's cooking. For some people, that's just helping whenever is necessary. For some people, it's creating something amazing, whether that be art or whether that be, you know, a scientific discovery. But it's really finding what makes you you, what makes you unique, what makes you beautiful, and what really carves out your path and your space within your community. And so that being said, I hope to see everybody on Sunday. I'm aiming to do the march probably around, gather at 12, march at 12:30, go into City Hall, have our event at about 1, hopefully wrap everything up no later than 3. We'll probably wrap up at 2 because it's supposed to be cold this weekend and I don't like cold. So but I love you all. I hope to see you this weekend. If not, I'll also post the link to my YouTube as well as Of course, here on Facebook, you'll be able to find the live stream. I'll probably just send people off into the nether with a couple of phones and remember to charge them. Okay. Just so that we can still stay connected even if it's online, but also encouraging everybody, if you do have a phone and you're not carrying a drum or a sign or one of the beautiful red cutouts, please do film it so that the people who cannot be present with us are still with us, whether it be online or in spirit. And so that being said, this is the traveling song. Please have a wonderful week. Stay warm. And yeah, if again, the drum raffle, please let me know if you would like a number. I keep posting the numbers that have been sold, and I will update that after this broadcast on Facebook. So this is the traveling song. Have a beautiful week. Hi, thank you all so much for joining me. I will see you on the weekend, and if anything, I will see you on Friday for the amazing drum draffle. It'll be fantastic. Not a draw, not a raffle, it's a draffle. And again, there are still lots of tickets left, so please do contact me. Get in on this action, because, I mean, this is an amazing drum. Wouldn't you love to have that in your home and use it? So yeah, Chimagwitch everybody. Hi again. Thank you so much, and I will see you Friday for the draw, and Sunday for the march, and next Tuesday. Hi everyone. Have a wonderful week. Bye.